We're getting ready for a new session.
Exactly. Ready for the marathon.
Ready for the marathon.
Last week on Round Sailing, we started a lamination marathon that lasted 4 days together with my brother. We did preparations during the day and laminated during the night, since we needed decreasing temperatures to prevent off-gassing from the cedar.
We do have electric shears, but sadly it fell down, so it's broken. So that's why we're using these manual scissors now. It's okay, it's not that bad, but obviously it's a bit faster using the electric one. So I think we'll have to get a new one.
While Johan was cutting fiberglass, I sanded epoxy remains and the overlapping fiberglass areas.
One comment that we've been getting a lot from last week's episode was why we didn't use extension handles on the rollers. Yeah, we tried that in the past with not so good result, because the problem is that you need to have a really thick and heavy pole to be able to cope with that pressure that we need to put on the laminate. So much so that we broke the handles off the rollers when using a long handle. Because you want to have a really compacted laminate, and to get that you need to put a lot of pressure on the roller. So you can't really compare it to, painting the walls, because this is very different. You need a lot of pressure. And also you need to get pretty close to see that the cloth is fully saturated in all areas, and that so you have full saturation and no air bubbles.
Johan made the last preparations before starting the lamination. This week we had our 16-year-old neighbor Olaf helping us. He was free again after his summer job as a sailing instructor, and after 3 weeks at sea on the 85-feet cutter Atlantica, which he sailed in Norway and to the Shetland Islands with. Johan folds the fiberglass cloth so we have double layers, and this way we get all 4 layers in one go.
Second piece, and it's going all right so far.
When Olaf helped us last time, he sanded the inside of the hull, so this was his first time laminating, but he was a quick learner. The hull is quite slippery because of the curve, so I use my foot as a stop, so Olof won't slip. They added a layer of peel ply on the last fiberglass piece, to avoid sanding on the fresh laminate, which won't be fully cured before starting again.
It's a new day and I'm out here sanding the fiberglass. The rest of the fiberglass, Johan is in the house, he's sleeping. They were working until 4:30 this morning and they made 11 pieces. So that's really great. So we're past the chain plate reinforcements, not really halfway on port side. So I guess that I think there's over 20 pieces left all the way up to the aft. Maybe they can do 11 more tonight, and I can help a few hours as well. And then we might have maybe 10 or something pieces left that we have to do just the two of us and then the bow section. It takes quite a long time to sand the fiberglass. You need to get the shiny parts away. You have to like roughen up the surface so the new fiberglass get a good stick to that. Yeah, I've been going on now for a while. I have this bit left. And when Johan wakes up, he will start measuring new epoxy. I think he has to cut some more fiberglass pieces. And at 6, Olof is joining us and we're starting to laminate again. We're pushing on and they're working on the house today as well. They have started now to rebuild the end of the house, the upper part. So that's exciting.
It's time to start making preparations again. Will be a copy paste from yesterday's work. It's around noon now, Tuesday. I've been sleeping until now. Yesterday was really good work, good progress, and it is a bit cooler now, making the work a little bit easier. What's hard for me is this transition back and forth between last week working nighttime and then trying to live a bit more normal during the weekend, and now back to working at night again. And if we have the same progress tonight as we had yesterday, we will only have around 25% left of the hull on the port side to laminate. But the problem is that Olof can only help us for one more night because he starts school day after tomorrow, I think it is. So he have to be a little bit fresh for that. So I have to find out the way how I can do the last lamination on my own.
Tired and sweaty, they finished for the night at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was a really good run yesterday. We managed to get 13 pieces of lengths of fiberglass on the hull. And now we're only missing 12 pieces on the port side to have a almost fully laminated hull on the port side as well. Besides the bow that we still need to do later on. But it's been a great help to have Olof over to help us out now for 2 days. And this week and last week has been really productive. We've been getting a lot of work done. But now I'm thinking that I need to slow down a little bit because it's only me and Malin. So I'm thinking I will start preparing the bow instead, the stem and the bow area for lamination. There are some sharp corners and edges that we need to fix before we can start with that. Then next week we can do the rest of the lamination on the hull, the bow, and those 12 pieces that we're missing now on the port side in smaller steps, maybe doing sessions of 3 to 4 hours in the evenings. So I think this will be a better option and a bit less stressful, because doing the lamination on my own, I figured I can make some sort of shelf to put the roll of fiberglass so I can get it stapled to the hull and then roll it down. But it will be pretty stressful to do it on my own since it takes quite some time to get one length of fiberglass in place before it's too late, really. A question we've been getting quite a lot from last week's episode is the hull now finished when we have that inner laminate as well? And it is, more or less. At least the top sides, we will still do some more glass work in the keel area, but the actual sandwich laminate here in the hull is finished. We will have a total of 1,800 grams, 4 layers of biax fiberglass on the inside now. And on the outside, we did the same, but with 600 grams, so 2,400 grams of biax, and an additional 200 grams of twill weave on top of that, before we did all that fairing. On the inside, it will be a bit easier. We don't need that twill weave on top of the biax, so we will only have those 4 layers that we have put down now. And the only thing missing is really some paint, some coating to cover it. So I'm thinking we will use the same type of coating that we've been using on the outside here, epoxy mixed with barrier coat to make the epoxy even more waterproof, you could say. So once this is done, we can actually start with the interior, like the keel grid and the bulkheads and all of that. And I'm really looking forward to that, because the steps will be a bit more manageable. So I'm just trying to make it a bit easier for the fiberglass to conform to the shapes up here in the bow, especially on the stem here, rounding off the edges, and also down here in the corners I will put a fillet of epoxy, thickened epoxy, for the same reason. And then later on we might fill these areas down here with the epoxy foam and put another layer of glass on top of this, just to have a more flat floor, so to say, in the chain locker up here.
Johan applies epoxy on the surface before adding a layer of peel ply. This way we don't have to sand as much before laminating.
So I think I'm finished for today with this. I have peel ply over the whole stem and also over the fillet on the sides. And then tomorrow I think I will continue to put a primer layer on the cedar and peel ply on top of that. And the reason I want to do that up here is just to be able to do the lamination here a bit easier during daytime, so we don't have to do this at night as well. And then the primer definitely helps. So that's it for this week's episode. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. And a big thank you to all of you who contributes to the production of our videos in different ways. And if you would like to support our production, you find the links in the description below on the different ways on how you can do that. And yeah, we hope to see you again next Friday, and we wish you a happy weekend now. Take care. Bye-bye.